It's still the arena. Now it's time to bring you the round leather game on the arena, and that's talking about football. We'll definitely start with the big one. It's Europe's biggest competition. More importantly, it is the one that pays the most, talking about the UEFA Champions League. We'll give you a preview of the matches, and definitely we'll talk about, you know, the earnings of various clubs when it comes to the competition itself, talking about the prize money for the 2021-2022 season of the UEFA Champions League. So let's start from Stamford Bridge, where we'll be looking at Chelsea against Lille, and this is a match that promises to be exciting. Chelsea at home, and you should expect them to win, but hey, the struggles are real. Talking about Chelsea in recent weeks, the results have not been going their way. More importantly is the struggles of star man Romelu Lukaku, who has been struggling to score goals. Scored just 10 goals for Chelsea since his return, 5 in the Premier League and 5 in other competitions. Well, 2 of them came in handy, talking about the Club World Cup that they won last week. So what's wrong with Romelu Lukaku exactly? But for £97.5 million, and has, as I said earlier, 5 Premier League goals in 17 league matches and 5 other goals in other competitions. Right now, the big man, the Belgian, is struggling for form. He had just 7 touches against in the match in a weekend match. Yes, the last time Chelsea played, and that was the least in terms of record for a player who played over 90 minutes. So it's really worrying times for Chelsea. Let's see how they're able to get through this. But there you have the prize money on your screen, talking about this year's prize money for UEFA for qualification of the groups, £15.6 million. Euros, I beg your pardon. Group stage draw, 900,000 euros. You have group stage win, 2.8 million euros. And now this is the round of 16. So Chelsea and Lille are guaranteed 9.6 million euros as a result of qualifying for the round of 16. And Chelsea and Lille will also be playing for a quarterfinal spot, which comes with a 10.6 million euros reward. So lots of money there for the clubs, especially French side Lille, who are not as financially buoyant as Chelsea. 10.6 million is at stake, as well as a quarterfinal bet. To the match itself, you expect everyone to play so well. Ziyech is in good form for Chelsea at this point in time. No injury worries, but as I said earlier, that concerns regards Romelu Lukaku's struggles, which hit the limelight over the weekend following his fewest touches ever recorded in Premier League football when it comes to a player who played over 90 minutes, 7 touches all through the match. It just shows you that something is wrong in terms of the playmaking abilities of Chelsea's midfielder and getting the striker the ball. We know quite well what Romelu Lukaku can do with the ball in terms of getting goals and, you know, bullying defenders, centre-backs. But if he's finding it difficult to even get the ball, then it speaks more of the connection between the midfielder and the striker himself in terms of transitional plays, which is something Chelsea will be looking to correct going forward. For Lille, not so much is expected from them. They could definitely pose problems, but in the French League as well, they're struggling. They're not among the top 2 teams. You have Nice in the mix, you have Marseille in the mix, there's Paris Saint-Germain in there as well. So for the former champions of French League it's not a match that they're going into with convincing form, especially when you look at their record over the last 5-6 matches. So this is a match that could go either way, but you expect Chelsea probably being at home to just edge it a bit, and let's see if they will be able to do that. But there's so much at stake, and the pressure is gradually piling up on Thomas Tuchel to turn things around domestically. Remember, you had club legend Chris Sutton, who slammed the club and the players for celebrating the Club World Cup triumph over, you know, the Premier League struggles they have at this point in time. But good news for Chelsea, they're still in top 3. Let's see how that pans out. Now, let's move away from Chelsea and move over to the El Madrigal Stadium in Spain, talking about Villarreal's home ground. And this time around, it's Villarreal against Juventus. That's a match that we should watch. It should be competitive, and you would expect that Paulo Dybala is leading the line for Juventus in this one, going especially against the Villarreal side that is inconsistent when it comes to European competitions. They won the Europa League last time out, and they will be looking to, you know, make it count this time around in the biggest league when it comes to you know, the UEFA Champions League. But it's Juventus who will be seeking to take control of the tie going into this. And for the old ladies, as they are known, talking about Juventus, the form domestically has not also been impressive over the last 6-7 games. There have been struggles, and Maxi Allegri's men will be going into this. There are no injury worries, it must be said. You still have the regular suspects in the mix. You have Morata in there, although Zakaria should also get a look in terms of his Champions League debut for Juventus, having made a move in January from Borussia Mönchengladbach. So you have Kulusevski as well as Bentancur, who are now with Spurs, missing for Juventus, but there's Zakaria in there to make up for the numbers. So Villarreal against Juventus, it should be exciting. Again, for both teams, there's so much at stake in terms of the prize money. We've talked about that, 9.6 million euros guaranteed for both teams having made it to the round of 16. But they're playing not just for the quarterfinal spot, but also for 10.6 million euros for qualifying for the quarterfinals. And that's so much money for a club like Villarreal. Let's see if they're able to make it count. The first leg is at the El Madrigal Stadium, as I said, and it's yet to be seen if they'll be able to pull through. Now to Turkish football, piracy has caused yet another major financial shortfall for Turkish football clubs. Broadcasters bid an estimated $100 million less in media rights bids than clubs originally projected due to piracy. While clubs expected $250 million for broadcasting rights, broadcasters reportedly only offered up to $150 million. Now, these broadcasting losses have already been reflected in this year's revenue. beIN Media will probably pay only about $200 million worth of annual broadcasting rights that would have been worth $500 million, though some of that loss was attributed to extreme fluctuations in the Turkish currency. For every soccer fan watching on a legal broadcast, 2 were watching pirated versions of matches, according to a 2021 study by beIN Media. As a result, Turkey loses about $36.7 million every year worth of revenue due to pirated videos. That's quite sad. Now let's move over to the esports and gaming world. Chip manufacturer Nvidia's fourth quarter revenue jumped 53% year over year to $7.65 billion, totaling $26.91 billion for the year. The company's gaming division reported record revenue for the quarter, a 37% year-over-year increase to $3.42 billion, while its fiscal gaming revenue ballooned 61% to $12.46 billion. During the quarter, Nvidia made a number of investments in its gaming sector. The company launched the desktop and laptop GPUs. It also announced more than 160 gaming and studio GeForce-based laptop designs. Nvidia also unveiled more than 30 new RTX games and titles in the quarter, including COD, Vanguard, and God of War, and added more than 65 games to its GeForce Now library while collaborating with Samsung and AT&T. Nvidia's data center and professional visualization divisions reached record revenue at $3.26 billion and $643 million, which is up 71% and 109% from the same period last year. And that's it when it comes to business news emanating from the world of sports. So much money being made when it comes to the gaming industry, especially esports. That's the in thing this time, made possible or made more prominent, as it were, by the COVID-19 pandemic that rocked the world over the last 2 years. We'll go on a very short break. When we return, it's over time to delve into the world of other sports, especially the School of the Sweet Science, where it's all about Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Now it's time to take you through the School of Sweet Science when it comes to the arena, and definitely we'll be looking at the heavyweight bout between Tyson Fury, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world in terms of boxing, and his mandatory challenger, talking about his fellow British, Dillian Whyte. Now, it must be said that it was 6 hours just before the deadline, but finally, Dillian Whyte has signed the contract. So both fighters have signed the contract, and it means that the much anticipated bout between Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury is signed, sealed, delivered. Now you have a purse bid of $41 million for this fight, which was won by Frank Warren's Queensbury Promotions as well as Top Rank. And based on the purse bid, you have 80% of the prize money going to Tyson Fury, who is the champion, and 20% to Dillian Whyte. It's all about Novak Djokovic at this point. It's been in the news for so long, but this time around it's good news because he's back on tour, and he won his first match following the deportation saga, or visa saga as it were, that culminated in his deportation from Australia. And this time around it's at the Dubai Tennis Free Championship, where he was able to defeat Lorenzo Musetti 6-3, 6-3 in straight sets, and it was a dominant performance from the world number 1, who didn't show any rust. He was also able to save 7 break points that he faced. And then the second round of the competition, he will be facing either Karen Khachanov or Abdel Alex de Monoir,